Welcome back to Juba Forensics PLLC, the YouTube channel. Today I want to talk through, in a divorce case, so we're back specific to divorces and forensic accounting. We're going to talk through who do you need on your team and what do those people specifically do? How do you know when to bring them on? So if you are going through a divorce, I highly recommend the first person you contact is some type of lawyer, whether that's a divorce lawyer or family law lawyer. Get them involved from the beginning. From there, they can guide you through the laws specific to your state, especially when it comes to child support, alimony, whatever it might be. Talk to a lawyer first. As you start working through the process, there may be questionable things with finances. Sometimes a lawyer can help you with that. But this is where a forensic accountant comes in with the divorce case, is the forensic accountant can come in and straighten out anything money related. Where has money come and gone? How much money is there with marital assets? If there are businesses that need to be valued, they can, if the forensic accountant can't value businesses, they can bring on a business valuation expert. So this way marital assets can be divided as fairly as possible, whatever that looks like for you guys based on your circumstances and the state that you live in. So lawyers first, they know the rules. They know the ins and outs of what you can and cannot do in your state specifically. Forensic accountants are there to help quantify your marital assets, to then give the report to the lawyers, and the lawyers can then work through what is fair. Another professional that you might think you need in your divorce case is like a private investigator. And a private investigator would do a little more data sleuthing that your forensic accountant can't really do. So the forensic accountant is specific to the numbers. I will say there are some forensic accountants that are also private investigators, but that is not always the case. So I want you to kind of keep that separate in your mind. And if you've happened to find a professional that's both, even better for you. But forensic accountants, they're your numbers people. They're going to help you get to the bottom of what do you have? What is it valued? Here's it in a nice fancy report. Lawyers help you divide it up. Private investigator comes in if you think your soon-to-be ex-spouse is hiding something, is doing something shady, whether it's numbers related or not. Maybe you think your soon-to-be ex-spouse is cheating, whatever the case may be. That's where the private investigator would come in. And it doesn't have to be just cheating specific, of course. Private investigators can do a whole lot more digging than that. They can dig into anything and everything. But while a forensic accountant is not a private investigator is also not a forensic accountant. So yes, a private investigator has access, not only can they do surveillance, but they can pull certain databases that maybe your forensic accountant cannot. So your private investigator can step into work with that forensic accountant, give them access to databases, things like that, or give them information that they may need. But the private investigator, they are not forensic accountants. Maybe you find one that's both, like I mentioned before. But for the most part, private investigators will do their digging, whether that's digging into databases, surveillance, whatever else it might be. They'll be able to get you the information that you need. Forensic accountants can work up any information based on what they may find to say, okay, here's how we do the thing. Here's how we value the assets. Here's how we quantify the assets. And your forensic accountant can testify in court to those valuations and the quantifying of those assets. Your private investigator is going to, if you need them, testify in court about what they saw, what they found throughout their surveillance process. Another person that might be helpful on your team is I lost my train of thought for a second, is a mediator. So mediator and lawyer, also similar, but not necessarily the same, kind of like a forensic accountant and a business valuation expert. They both kind of work with numbers, but two different pieces. Some people may do both. Some people may do forensic accounting and business valuation, and other ones do one or the other. Same thing with like mediators and lawyers. You may have a lawyer that does great work as a mediator as well. So a lawyer, most of the time, you hire a lawyer to represent you. Your lawyer is in your corner fighting for you and what you deserve. A mediator is supposed to be a neutral third party that helps figure out what is fair. Now, granted, your lawyers may decide to bring in a mediator to help figure out what is fair if the lawyers are fighting and you guys are fighting and you need that third party to help figure out what to do. So at some point you might need a mediator as well. I would maybe rely on the lawyer's judgment as to what point you need a mediator, and do you mediate versus going to court over certain things. Let the lawyers guide you on that, but that might be another individual that you need on your team. So I feel like I've covered quite a few professionals when you're going through a divorce. There are some divorces that are so simple and cut and dry that you may not even need a lawyer. You and your soon-to-be ex might just say, okay, we're done, split it down the line, we're not going to fight over anything, we'll just go our separate ways. But if things get more complicated, if there are kids involved, if there's child support, alimony, things like that are all going to be involved, the first step is always to hire a lawyer. Even if it's just a consult with a lawyer, you need someone on your team, in your corner, that's going to help you navigate the laws, help you navigate what you can and cannot do. From there, they can help you figure out anybody else you might need to bring in onto your team, whether that is a business valuation expert, a forensic accountant, a private investigator, a mediator, and I'm sure there are other people that you can bring onto your team as well. I would also recommend separately from a lawyer, get yourself a good therapist when you're working through a divorce. I think it is extremely helpful and beneficial. I mean, shoot, your lawyer may even suggest that you wind up going to therapy at some point, because your lawyer is not your therapist. You're not paying your lawyer to listen to you talk through your emotions. You're paying your lawyer to give you legal advice. So having a therapist on your team also can be helpful, but not really the most related to what it is we're talking about today. I just wanted to go through the difference between all these different people that might be on your team. And you don't have to wait for your lawyer to suggest a forensic accountant or a PI or a mediator. You can ask. If your lawyer does not outright bring it up, you can say, hey, I don't know about this. I'm confused about my finances. I don't know what's happening. Do you suggest a forensic accountant? I'd like to get a second set of eyes on this. You can advocate for yourself if you think you need a private investigator or a mediator. So know the different types of people that can be in your corner and be willing to advocate for what you need in case the lawyer does not recommend it up front for you. So that's all I have for today, and I will see you on the next video.